Hey everybody, it's Sonia, Profile and Manipulation. So I got left a comment under one of my posts, and I'd asked the person who left the comment if it would be alright to answer this in a video, because I thought it was a really great question, and it's a popular question that lots of us ask, those of us that live with narcissistic family members or partners. So the question says, is it healthy to admit that even if the narcissist changed today and was magically kind and fair, I just don't like them? Is it okay to dislike family who are unkind and liars? I'm finally over it. I'm planning on being polite but keeping them at arm's length and only surface information given. And if they hurt me again, it's a full no contact. Well, for me, I did a similar thing, because I learned as I was going along with this discovery of narcissistic families or toxic families or generational dysfunction, generational trauma and things like that. I learned about a technique called grey rock within all of that, and about setting down healthy boundaries. Of course, it's okay for you to not like somebody. Even if they were nice to you, you have every right to not like somebody. And in my humble opinion, I think you should give yourself permission to do that. You are allowed to do that. We are all allowed to do that. And the next part is it okay to dislike family who are unkind and liars? Yes, it is okay to dislike family who are unkind and liars, in my opinion. And during this healing process within the narcissistic abuse community and things like that, places like that, if you join one on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok, we learn about this section of this kind of problem, because dealing with one of these people, I'm sure if everybody's seen one on YouTube, or how some of them handle their channels, or toxic channel holders, how cruel they can be, the lies that you end up uncovering, the sneaky stuff that we find out they've been doing behind the scenes and stuff like that. So that's what you're living with. The activities that we see going on YouTube are the same activities we live with if we've got a narcissist in the family, parent or sibling or partner. It's difficult. There's constant lies, constant mind games, stealing from you, betraying you, all kinds of things. Okay, so about this, is it okay to dislike family members who are unkind and liars? Yes, it definitely is. It definitely is. If they're unkind to you or hurtful to you, you don't have to accept that just because they are family. Like, I grew up in the headspace of a societal point of view tends to be, you only get one mother, you never talk bad on your mother, you know, heaven or the sun rises and sets at your mum's feet, or it should do. You should treat your mum respectfully, you should always be humble and use humility when dealing with your mother. Teachings like that. Your mother's always right even when she's wrong. Some warped ideas too, more kind of warped thinking styles. Like, what else can I think? Like, your mum's allowed to direct your life, and if you don't do it, then she'll do stuff to you because you didn't do the thing that she wanted you to do. All those kinds of things would go on. If they are unkind to you and they're lying to you, you're absolutely okay to not like them at all and have a boundary there. You are allowed, even though, like, society will say, oh, family's family, or you've always got to stand by your family, or you never walk away, or you never say no if your parent asks you something, you always respect your elders. Like, all those kinds of thinking styles, and religious ones too, there, because religiously there's a lot of talk about on how you're supposed to treat your family. What these kinds of concepts are talking about, though, they're talking about healthy families. Those kinds of ideas are not suitable for a child that's being abused. I mean, would you tell a little kid, 6, 7, for example, that if their parents are being unkind to them and hurtful and lying to them, that they don't have a right to tell anyone about it or do anything about it? Because that's what we're saying here. When we're telling adults that are saying they've been abused by their parents, that they should stand by their parents, right? Or not speak about it in public, or keep it brushed under the carpet, or it's a family secret that you're supposed to hold, you know, until your death. Would you tell a child to do that was being hurt and abused by their parent? No, I don't think anybody would. All right. So religiously, when they're telling us about the ideas of the mother and the idea of the huge role that the mother has in your life, that's within healthy families. Unfortunately, a lot of these teachings that I don't even know where half of them come from, but societally, a lot of the teachings that we have towards family, and that you never walk away from family, that kind of thing, they don't work or help for people that are being abused within their family. In fact, it was lots of those kinds of teachings that kept me around what I stayed around: the abuse and the toxicity and the manipulation and the fighting and the screaming and the disputes and the just all the unnecessary drama that comes along with narcissistic people. There's constant drama. If you've seen it on YouTube, that is exactly the same type of thing we live with at home, or what is going on within our families constantly. There is always some huge grandiose issue. Okay, it's like a cross between Molly Golightly, Bullhorn Betty, and who else is there on there that's wild? Who else is there? Well, it's like a combination. For me, Daryl Brooks is just the epitome of everything a narcissist is at home to live with. Even when they had him in a room controlled the microphone, he still could cause absolute sheer chaos. That is a narcissist. They will create chaos even when there's no one around. So yes, you are allowed to keep them at arm's length, and I would recommend that you do that, because if you know that they're liars and they're unkind and hurtful and possibly manipulative too, telling them your personal information, right, you're thinking of changing your job, you've met somebody, they will interfere. All right, you might think there's no way they can interfere in this. They will find a way. They will know somebody that knows someone that knows the person you've met, and they will start meddling, telling them things. But whatever it is, changing your job, they will put ideas in your head or try to sabotage it. That's a narcissist goal, especially in a parent's type of role, to sabotage their children while looking like they're trying to help their children. It's like the mentality of, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Okay, that's like that's the most like perfect narcissistic saying I can think of, and I'm always right even when I'm wrong. That's the kind of mentality they have. So telling them all your private information is very dangerous, and once you've realized what they are, it would be stupidity to share anything with them, because they are not good people and they don't keep secrets and they are not loyal. Okay, so you're kind of describing, though, doing a technique called grey rock. So I recommend you Google that and do some research if you haven't already. Grey rock is perfect if it's somebody within your family that you don't want to cut off necessarily, right, for whatever reason, even a parent possibly. But grey rock, this kind of situation where you're saying, I'm planning on just being polite but keeping them at arm's length and only giving surface information. The problem with grey rock is, if you're in close proximity to a narcissist, they will recognise that you're doing something different, you're acting different, and you're not giving away as much information or being as chatty about things as you possibly would have done before. They notice the finest of details within atmosphere, mood, tone. They notice it, okay? And they usually catch on that you're doing this technique called grey rock, and then they will push even harder, as I found out. For me, if you're doing grey rock in close proximity to a narcissist, somebody that you see several hours a day, I wouldn't recommend it, okay? You can go to other channels and talk about grey rock possibly, or do some research, like I said, and see what you think, see what decision you come up to. Grey rock is ideal for family members that you possibly see once a week or once a month, because they pick up on what you're doing. All right, and if you're only seeing them once a month, you can get away with just being polite and keeping them at arm's length and only giving surface information. But if you're around them all day, right, or for several hours, they begin to notice that you're being quieter, you're not being as attentive, you're not sharing as much, you're not chatting enough, you're focusing on your phone too much. So they notice finer changes in behaviour. So it's a difficult one. I won't be giving away secrets, right, which is hard, because again, when you're around them for hours, they have a way of talking information out of you, and I have witnessed this happen millions of times. I've had it happen to me hundreds and hundreds of times. They are amazing at, because I watch them on YouTube as well, do these kind of tricks and techniques on YouTube all the time. They are amazing at getting information out of you without you realising you're giving information away, okay? So that's another thing you'd have to be careful of. And then you said, and if they hurt me again, it's a full no contact. I can't tell you to go no contact, and I wouldn't order or say to somebody that they have to go no contact. When you're dealing with family members, as much as they may be being horrible and evil to you, and even if they're pathologically nasty, breaking away or cutting them off or doing the final walk away is not easy. I'm still like grieving over that, even though I know going back is worse, right? It's just a horrible thing. So I can't tell somebody to go no contact. It has to be your own individual decision at your own time, in your own time, at the right time for you only. I think that's a good boundary, though. If they do anything again to you, it is a full no contact. And obviously, if mentally and psychologically you're prepared for that's the bonus. Because whoever it is hard emotionally to walk away from people that are family. It's very difficult. I think I've covered everything in there. Just be careful, because you don't say how long or how often you see them. So the planning on polite bit and keeping them at arm's length, you likely would struggle if you were having to put on that performance daily. All right, and if it's going to be noticeable in how you usually act to how you're going to be acting now. So if there's going to be a noticeable change in that behaviour, they'll notice it. Okay, so just be careful. It's better for people at arm's length. And even so, look, if you had to be around them a couple of hours every day, say if that was the situation, worst case scenario, don't give private information away. Don't. Really be careful on what you give away in those kinds of circumstances. And the worst thing is if they do pick up on you that you're doing this, they start thinking about ways to get you back and really fucking up your life. They are so devious, so mean, so nasty, you just would not believe it. So just be careful. If it's weekends or 1 day a week or 1 day a month, you'll be able to get by fine doing that kind of an idea. So do go and research Grey Rock. If you can't find any information on Grey Rock, or you struggle to get, I don't know, accurate information, just let me know in the comments and I'll grab you some links. Thanks for the question. Everybody else listening, thank you so much. If you could leave a like or a dislike, share your thoughts, share a comment if you feel like you want to. And I will see you in the next video. Love lots and bye for now.